Yo, what's up, y'all? Thanks for clicking on the video. This is Jihad Speaks, and today we are celebrating the end of a very long and very fucked up year by doing a 2025 end of the year Zine Haul. We have a couple titles right here that we're going to be going through. For those of you who don't know, zines are little magazines or books that are circulated usually underground. By underground, I just mean that they're circulated by people without an official publishing, usually through reading groups and community gatherings. We have here some pretty dope leftist zines we'll be briefly reviewing today. The first two came out of the Oakland Museum during a trip I took to the Bay Area, and the rest I collected over the last 2 months while doing movement work, usually like food distro stuff. And yeah, but let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. First off, we have How Will You Remember Home? The Power of a Personal Archive. This was made by an Archive of Urban Futures project. It's a collab between Moms for Housing, which is this dope-ass direct action group in Oakland that deserves its own video, honestly, and some researchers at UC Berkeley. You see here, we have really high quality print. This is almost like a cardstocky kind of paper. And you see, they have some Archive of Human Futures lore here on the front page. Let's see if y'all get that in focus. So yeah, I got this from the Oakland Museum when they were doing an exhibit on formulating, on living memory and the importance of preserving Black spaces. This is a more conceptual zine. It's all about formulating memory as a way to give context for the important job we have of protecting our living spaces, especially against, things like gentrification. They all have these really dope edits with nice color blocking designs, kind of collage inspired. I already talked about the quality of the paper, but this print is also really good. It's a nice matte finish. You could tell this was professionally done. This is a little bit nicer than you would typically get on some zine qualities. Especially all these different colors. A lot of times zines end up coming in black and white because they're printed for extremely cheap, by community groups and spread that way or spread online. But this was done professionally, like I said, by some researchers at UC Berkeley and some really dope grassroots organizers from back in the Oak. And so yeah, again, zine creators are on the back. This one was created by Julian Robinson, Maya Sapienza, Mateo Villa, and Christy McCaddy. And I probably butchered the fuck out of those names, but if you're watching this, subscribe and I'll get them right next time. But my bad if I fucked up anybody's names. If y'all do want to know where to get any of these zines, I will link the ones that I can find in the description below. Feel free to help a nigga out by, again, smashing the like button and subscribing while you're down there. But some of these might be a more, try to find them if you can, if you know kind of deal. This one is also from the Oakland Museum, and I really love the title because it poses a very important question. Who stole the Harlem of the West? Again, we have our zine creators on the back. This is also an AUF production. This one was written and illustrated again by Christine McCarthy. I really need to, and edited by Mateo. It's the same people as the last zine. I really need to, one, know how to pronounce your names right, and also two, just give kudos because these are some of my favorite pieces of literature that I've picked up in the past few years. It has a very nice mid-century kind of like 1960s looking aesthetic. We still see more of that like bold lettering, the kind of like mixed media collage work going on. This is one of my favorite zines, like I said, because, and honestly, I'm gonna make a full video about this one day. There's another one in here that I'm already doing a video on, but this one is special. Oakland back in the day was a land of Black refugees, right? From all across the South, all across places in Black America that were under attack by white supremacy. And like, it was torn apart. Oakland was. But, it was gentrified, renewed, and outright colonized. And again, a full video about this will be coming soon, but when I use phrases like the Black Oakland diaspora, or talk about a right to return, or use phrases like cultural genocide, just know I'm not being hyperbolic. I mean, they talk about it in here a little bit, how that whole process played out, the process of, tearing apart Africatown and the cultural genocide of 7th Street and the resistance to it. Again, another big shout out to Moms for Housing and everyone in the Bay and every city that's combating gentrification where they are. But yeah, we see we got featuring some of the Panthers here, some old gatherings from, the Free Huey, Black Power era. This does a really good job at capturing the feeling of, history that Oakland has. So yeah. There's their email. Here's the creators of the zine again. Expect a full video on this one day. Maybe not soon, but, one day. Moving on, we have a publication. This is a little bit more than a zine. It's technically also it's a monthly zine, a monthly newsletter. This publication is called Incendiary, as you can see by this dope-ass fucking art right here. A lot of times, the zines will just do the very simple tactic of like, everything will be able to be printed in black and white, but then you just pick a color for that front page, and it really makes your design pop. And I mean, can we imagine Incendiary coming in anything but red, first of all? But this art is really nice. I'm gonna give the full page spread. That's where it is. This is really dope. It reminds me of Emory Douglas art. He's the main artist who did artwork for the Black Panther newspaper, which, let me know in the comment section below if you guys would like me to go over a vintage copy of the Black Panther. I have the August 28th, 1971 issue. That's the George Jackson Memorial issue. Let me know if y'all want to see that. We could do more than just zines, vintage publications as well on this channel if y'all want. But yeah, this is issue number 6. Not affiliated with any specific school, but it is a radical student publication from Atlanta, Georgia, which is where a lot of my homies do organizing. It's where I'd be at sometimes. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting pieces. I could honestly go into a very, very deep dive about all of these, but essentially, yeah, I'm gonna read this introduction right here. Right. Incendiary is a monthly newspaper for students and youth, produced by a students collective based in Atlanta, Georgia. It campaigns against oppression, exploitation in all its forms, racism, sexism, queerphobia, imperialism, the most advanced stage of capitalism, and etc. And covers news and features on the struggles and achievements of the working class and oppressed peoples of the world. Dope as shit. The politics and composition of the collective reflect our continuing commitment to a campaign for united anti-imperialist student movement. This is my shit right here. There's a great piece right here on the front about the significance of the Russian Revolution up front. If I had a slight criticism about it, it would have been the lack of criticism, or at least diving into the details of how Lenin's policies evolved throughout the Civil War, particularly the second half of the Civil War, if it could even really be considered the same war, and how the worker-peasant alliance eventually fell apart in the latter half of the Russian Civil War, as well as a kind of a lack of engagement around the reining in and eventual abolition, some would argue, of the Soviets in 1921. It does, however, of course, specifically say the October Revolution, right? There's nothing in here that's inaccurate. There are some, I might be hypersensitive about this, because, I either end up dealing with the most anarchist people you could ever meet in your life, or absolute Lenin meat riders, never any in between. I'm more of an in between kind of guy. But this is focusing specifically on the October Revolution and the origin of that kind of, peasant worker alliance. There's one quote in here that specifically says, Essentially, for 4 years, imperialist powers waged a bloody war to regain their power, but they were no match for the workers and peasants. Lines like this, while inspiring as fuck, to be honest, and not at all inaccurate, right, do make me want to further engage around how the Civil War impacted the Soviet Union's ability to live up to its revolutionary principles during and post-conflict. But again, that's another discussion. And that's just me nerding out about one of these articles. Everything in here has something to dig into, right? In typical revolutionary student fashion, it even has a section at the end, specifically with a reading list for you to read along with and actually study with and grow with the people who are writing this, which I just think is fucking dope as shit. If you haven't read Vito Wawatu, put it on your list. You could literally find it anywhere online if you just look up that zine. And it's crucial reading, crucial, modern day Marxist analysis. I feel like a lot of people in Marxist circles can tend to get caught up in past revolutions. And while there's a lot we can learn there's a lot that we can learn from those revolutions, right? What to do, what not to do. The biggest thing we could take Lenin, for example. The biggest thing we could learn how to do is to be scientific in our analysis and actually analyze the material conditions in the United States. And I think that's something that the people behind this publication are absolutely committed to doing, which is why they invite people to study with them and also bring forward their analyses based on not just, the literature, but also scientific analysis of the material conditions. I'm gonna get off my fucking soapbox though. There is one other thing that I want to highlight in here. Of course, there's a statement from the people fighting against Gilly. If you're in Georgia, you don't know what Gilly is, look it up. Georgia International Law Enforcement Exchange. We need to get that shit shut down ASAP, no Rocky. But there's a really dope piece here from the Maoist caucus, the Liberation Caucus in the Democratic Socialists of America about the genocide in Sudan. Everyone needs to read this. This and the statement from the anarchist collective in Darfur that was shared out by Prince Shakur. Remember, with all of these conflicts going on, there is and always will be on-the-ground resistance. That's why it's important to study and support actionable steps and solutions here in America, that we can do to try and support those people who are resisting genocide. But, I'm going to open up and leave that there as well. And then this by Kevin Johnson, We Are Oblivious. I might do a reading of this, honestly. We Are Oblivious. I might have to... We Are Oblivious is also a crucial reading for any black revolutionary, really any black person in general in America, any African living within America's borders. This is a stark reminder of the fact that we are up against something sinister, and that we have to be prepared for it, right? But I love that I got to read this because of the comrades at Incendiary, both the poem and the statement from the Liberation Caucus. Wherever you are, whether you're a student or not, whether you're specifically an ATL or not, there will be, like the End Gilly thing, some things that are more exclusive to ATL, but as you see, like, everyone needs to know about the genocide in Sudan. Everyone needs to think about, what role they're playing in the fight against oppression, right? And, we need to think about, what it means to face all these systems of oppression and what that amounts to, right? These are all crucial readings. Even if you don't live in Georgia, you do need to know about Gilly. If you don't know that police officers are being trained by Israeli soldiers, well, what the fuck are we doing? So wherever you are, student or non-student, subscribe to Incendiary. They're cooking up some dope shit over there. Up next is, I guess at this point you can consider it a classic. At least in the world of zines, the world of underground zines. This was, I think, June actually, June 24th of 2020. So we've gone through a couple of, I'd say, pretty major historical developments since this was written, and yet it is still something that everyone needs to read, which is exactly why I will be doing that in a video coming up soon, probably sometime in January as we bring in the new year. This is being recorded in December. We're trying to get it out before New Year's. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm definitely going to do a full reading of this. I think, of all these 25 theses, the one that I think kind of sums up why I'm so interested in this and why I think a proper understanding of this rebellion is crucial is I'm just going to read number one, right? The George Floyd Rebellion was a black-led, multiracial rebellion. This rebellion cannot be sociologically categorized as only a black rebellion. Rebels from all racialized groups fought the police, looted, and burned property. This included indigenous people, Latino people, it says Latinx, very 2020, Latino people, and Asian people, and white people. And I think that's very important, while everyone was screaming, Antifa this, Antifa that, and now apparently the president thinks they're a quote-unquote terrorist organization, my first time ever seeing them was seeing them in 2020 at a rally protecting protesters while the cops were busy trying to fight people, and fascists, literal Proud Boys, were out there trying to stir things up and make the situation worse. It was Antifa that was actually sitting there doing security for the march, making sure that there was a safe space for black people to, have their voices heard. Contrary to a lot of these narratives about, the loud ass, white liberals and white anarchists who kept hogging the spotlight for themselves, I saw the opposite occur, right? I recognize this might not always be the case. I also recognize that feds, imposters, and fascists also exist, and they would love for you to think that, it was Antifa that burned down that AutoZone or whatever else happened in whatever city. I think that happened in Minneapolis, right? But anyway, full video on this coming as well. Alright, and this next one is called Gaza, My Love, Understanding the Genocide in Palestine. It's coming off on the camera as a little bit more teal than it actually is, or I might try to color correct it when I do edit this. But it is this kind of like deeper, kind of like emerald green, kind of like the resistance headbands you see in Palestine, or like the Saudi flag. It's that kind of classic green color. This is essentially a crash course on the cultural and political history of Gaza, giving full context for the genocidal aggression of the occupation forces. It also has in it some really stunning photography that's done in this black and white. We have images here from the first Intifada. And yeah, it's pretty dense, but I think it's dense with a purpose. If you know absolutely nothing about the conflict beyond what is the most important part is that, people are suffering, children are dying, and that this genocide needs to be stopped by any means necessary at all costs, right? That's of course, yes, very true, but knowing the actual political context behind it, the formation of the occupation, the history of Gaza, and also just seeing a very human aspect that doesn't shy away from the politics, that doesn't just try to portray Palestinians as like perfect victims, right? But actually showing like the full spectrum of political resistance that led up to this moment, I think is very important. One highlight from this, for me, definitely was learning a little bit more about Arafat's eventual death and his changing position on the tactic of nonviolence, as well as the transition of Fatah from being a properly revolutionary organization. There's the student encampments. Shout out to everyone who is a veteran of the student intifada in the United States, everyone who got out there and not only marched for Palestine, but went to one of the encampments. If you were arrested, shout out to you. If you had survived police violence, shout out to you. If you were there, if you just sent over a pizza to one of your homeboys because they were sleeping in a tent, shout out to you. Keep fighting. But it gives a very, very important context. Look at this image. Very, very important context to let me try to focus in on that. Look at that. It gives very, very important context to how Fatah eventually transitioned from being essentially a vanguard party for the Palestinian National Liberation Project to a rubber stamp for United States imperialism. What better timing for the picture of the Oslo Accords being signed to show up? Oh wait, no, that's not the Oslo Accords. Look, there's Bibi, there's Mr. I Never Met Jeffrey Epstein. Israeli agent, by the way, in case y'all didn't catch on to that. But look at this. The curse, the blessing. This man is a curse. Yeah, it gives that very important history, you know, for those who still look to the Palestinian Authority as some sort of legitimate authority for Palestinian people. Well, shit, just ask Palestinian people. You know, another picture from Colombia. That's from Zine Haul. R.I.P. to Hind Rajab. Yeah, again, just very, very beautiful. Very, very all-encompassing. It captures the domestic struggle within Palestine, captures the past, captures the present, captures the international struggle, and especially we see heavily featured here pictures from the resistance to the genocide within Israel, as well as the resistance from student leaders across the West. And I think that's pretty neat. Yeah. Read this. If you're looking for a one-stop shop for I need to understand what the fuck is going on, this actually might be it for you. Alright, last one of the video we have I Will Not Crawl. Excerpts from Robert F. Williams on the Black Struggle and Armed Self-Defense in Monroe, North Carolina. First off, this stencil is really dope. Again, colored cover for this zine. The place that I typically get my zines from is a little printing house that's associated with an anarchist collective, and they do really high quality printouts, always with the construction paper on the front. Shout out to them. Whoever picks the colors, keep picking these colors. This was meant to be red. That one was meant to be green. We have some cool casings here on the back as well. And so yeah, this piece of work has a hard-ass title. First off, I Will Not Crawl. You damn fucking right we not finna crawl. What did Stokely Carmichael say when he was giving a speech one day? Y'all might as well tell the Klan to pack up their bags and get out of town because all the scared niggas here are dead. All the scared niggas in Mississippi are dead. That's what they said. I'm with them. But I'm just gonna read the cover description, right? Let's see if I can get it focused up here so y'all can read along with me. All right. The following is a brief biological sketch of an incredible man named Robert F. Williams, along with several chapters excerpted from his famous 1962 book, Negroes with Guns. Though less known than the more urban groups like the Black Panthers, the words and actions of Monroe, North Carolina's militant NAACP chapter were tremendously influential on later organizations that advocated self-determination, autonomy, equality, and self-defense. This publication was made possible by documents of the National Humanities Center and the Afro-American Studies Department of the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Though Robert F. Williams was not an anarchist per se, we hope that this publication can nevertheless further dialogue around the themes of Southern history, race, self-defense, and insurrection. The North Carolina Peace Corps. I am not familiar with the North Carolina Peace Corps, but shout out to them for publishing this. Let me get that back in focus. But shout out to them for publishing this. This is a must-read. Simple as that. Also, actually do go get the book Negroes with Guns. I also am a fan of the book We Will Shoot Back. It's about armed self-defense in the Mississippi freedom struggle, and it starts off with this harrowing account of this really, really fucked up incident, honestly, where a black state senator during the Reconstruction era was assassinated and targeted by the Ku Klux Klan. I can't remember if this was connected to that county government that was overthrown by white supremacists in South Carolina back in the day. I think that people have talked about that in the past couple of years, but nevertheless, it just goes to show you why community defense and self-defense is so important for oppressed groups and oppressed peoples. But that about wraps it up. Thank y'all for stopping by, listening to this video. One of these days, I'm gonna throw one or two of my zines in the mix, and maybe I'll have y'all try to guess which ones I made versus which ones I collected just out and about in the streets. But Happy New Year to y'all. We're gonna start getting way more active on this channel. Expect a fun video coming up next. Y'all be sure to keep reading up, studying up, get out in the streets, do some good work, go volunteer, go help people. Most of all, comrades, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace.